When you see these two teardrop kisses, what word slash name automatically comes to mind? Hershey. In October, first full weekend in October, is probably the biggest car show this side of the Mississippi, and it happens at Hershey, inside the parking lot, outside of the actual park. And it is gargantuan. And if you've never been there, you should seriously consider going next year. Just to give you an idea how big, how massive this is an aerial view, and I don't think that this is all of it really. There's a flea market, there's all kinds of swap meets going on, car corrals, auctions. RM Auction had this big bash this year where they auctioned off the Pickers Auburn. And honestly, one day isn't enough to see everything. You want to go the first or the second day. I went on the last day and everybody was cleaning up and stuff. The car show was still going on, but it was kind of disappointing. I only went there one other time, and that was in 2012, and the place was packed. It was way bigger than it was this past year, but I understand it was probably late because of COVID. That's still a prevalent thing if you're watching this in the future. Not saying that if you can only go one day and the day that you can go is closing day, I'm not saying not to go. I'm just saying that that's not the day to plan to go. So in this video, it's going to be of me and my family walking around at Hershey, and I got rid of the sound because otherwise you would hear my daughter screaming, "I want a lollipop! I want a lemonade!" And then after she drinks the lemonade, she's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom!" And it was just one thing after another, so I got rid of the sound, and yeah. So I hope you enjoy. There's going to be a light commentary throughout. I also decided not to add any cheesy music. Cheesy music's not really my thing right now, but it might be my thing in the future. Who knows? But this is a really nice example of a Cadillac V16. It was my very first time I've ever seen one in person. It was magnificent, and it was a limousine. I love the headlights. Check out that logo right underneath the Flying Lady. It almost looks like a Bentley logo. That's a judge. The owner of the limousine was sitting in the back. Check out the instrument cluster there. Look how narrow the body style is. There's wood. Check out the trunk on the back. That's awesome. This is a potato chip wagon. I never seen one like this. It looks pretty cool. It looks just like a little box car with wheels. It has like stairs inside. The steering wheel is in an interesting position. It was just a really neat, interesting looking wagon. This looked like a 30s Plymouth, common man's car. This was a Packard. I'm a huge Packard fan. I love the way that the grills look. They're fully functional. They open and close to allow more air in to cool off the car. I believe they're the first car to do that. Subarus do that now. Another beautiful Packard. There was lots of senior Packards there. This one has orange interior. Beautiful dashboard layout. Lots of Woody wagons there too. This one's a Pontiac Woody wagon. Just absolutely gorgeous. I guess steel was in short supply after the war, so they made do with wood. Just absolutely gorgeous color. Everything about it. There's a walk down through some muscle cars. This car was in the flea market section, but I didn't see how much they were asking for it. Beautiful Packard. Pair of Austin Healey's, America's first sports car. It beat the Corvette to market and by 2 years. The one on the white one is a 52, and that was a 1 year only, and then the red one was 53 to 54, I believe. I'm a huge fan of these. They're so nice. They're all aluminum body. I highlighted the tail scoop there. Coach Builder right there. I can't say that name. Beautiful wire wheels, white wall tires. This is the 52, 1 year only for this body style. And in pictures, I like this style better, but in person, I like the 53, 54 style. This is a beautiful Studebaker. It's a shame what happened to both Studebaker and Packard in the late 50s. Just the demise of two really luxury cars. It's a BMW 507. Very first time I've ever seen one of those. It's missing the bumper in the front. Really nice motorcycle there. That's another nice Packard. I don't know if it's missing the bumper or if it just didn't have a bumper. If it didn't come with one. I think they came with one though. Not an expert. Studebaker Speedster there with some Krager wheels. Everything was separated by, most everything was in different genres. I was kind of disappointed I didn't get to see any Edsels. I'm a pretty big Edsel fan, and the last time I was there was probably 10, and that's the most Edsels I've ever seen in one spot at one time. But this is a beautiful Buick Roadmaster, I believe. Just gorgeous. Lots of gorgeous cars. We were under a time limit, so I didn't get to see everything that I wanted to see, but got to see a lot of nice stuff. Cross ram, air intake there on that Plymouth. That's my daughter. She's probably asking to go to the bathroom. We had to make numerous bathroom breaks. Another Packard. There's lots of Packards, like I said. Beautiful Ford. This was a very unique kind of, it was like a Chevy Ute. Never saw one before. Had left-hand drive. It was very unique. There's the only Nash that I saw. I wasn't expecting them to be in the car, to be honest. It didn't look like anybody was in there. I'm a sucker for a nice wagon. I love how the material for the floor is actually on the back of the seats, so the seats don't get damaged. This is an Austin Banton, which was made in Butler, Pennsylvania, which isn't far from where I live. I think it's crazy. That car company was it was way ahead of its time. They made microcars. Another beautiful Packard. That to me is class. It doesn't get much classier than a senior Packard. This looks like an early 60s Chrysler. I was wrong. It's a Buick Electra. But as you can tell, this is just the car show. They have a bunch of other different things to look at. This looks like a 60s Ford European Ford. It looks like an Austin four-cylinder. It's interesting to see what we did in the 60s versus what Europe did in the 60s. Look at that, Flathead 6. Studebaker Express. It was a Studebaker pickup truck, but it was essentially it was a Coupe Express. I believe that's how they sold them. Very gorgeous truck. They're super rare. They only made them for 3 years, I think, and each body style is slightly different. I think they were trying to follow suit with the Hudson Terraplane. This is a Model A, either an A or a double A. I think it's an A. All wooden body. Buick Roadmaster there. That's a Ford. There's a Mercury. Montclair. Another gorgeous car. I used to draw that when I was a kid. I loved that design. That and the Oldsmobiles. The Oldsmobiles were just easier to draw from the sides. But this thing literally, this went on forever. And if it probably would have been bigger if it wasn't the final day. They were judging cars and stuff, and it just seemed like everybody was packing up and leaving. There wasn't that much at the flea market section. This is a nice Chrysler Imperial. Beautiful color. It looks like a Hemi under the hood there. Four-door. Gorgeous car. Really pretty color. This is a Studebaker tow truck there with the AA Ford next to it, dump truck. You hardly ever see the Studebaker trucks. This one was so nice. It was so clean. The owner said that it was his dad's. And it was in the family since new. If only I could talk. There's a Nash. Love the suicide doors. Look at that interior. Check out the stacked trunk there. You could sleep in that car. It was a sleeper. There's a Studebaker convertible. Just absolutely gorgeous. And there's a Chrysler Town and Country right next to it. This is when cars had class. They were actually machines. There's a Willis Arrow. We talked about in an earlier episode about fuel economy. Evidently, this was made in Brazil. This is an International with like an open bed canopy design. Right next to it, Mercedes Gullwing 300 SL. Look at how deep those door sills are. Check out that instrument cluster, that steering wheel. Beautiful car. It looks really good in black. There's a Studebaker Speedster. Here's a DeSoto pace car. Fire dome. I suppose it looks like a fire dome. Just absolutely gorgeous interiors. Here's another American Austin Banton. They called them Austin Americans and they called them Bantons. The Austin American, that was the engine that it used. This owner said he got this one up to 75 miles an hour, which The sound of it just terrifies you because it's just slightly bigger than the Crosley here. Crosley was America's first microcar. But I think the Bantam beat him out. That's a Fiat 500. The 500 even looks kind of big compared to the Bantam. There's a Jeep truck. You don't really see too many of those. Flat nosed Jeep. There's a Chevy Master Series. This one had the original tires on it. Can you tell? There's nothing left of them. But hey, it's all original, right? This one was all wood. Really awesome design. Stood the test of time, except the tires. This is a Buick. Check out those wheels. Look, they're all white. I guess rubber is a white substance and they dye it black. Just cars everywhere. I believe it's the biggest car show this side of the Mississippi. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments section down below. What is the biggest car show on this side of the Mississippi? On the East Coast, in other words. Another Woody wagon. This one has side curtains. There's a early 60s Chrysler. Look at that cross ram air intake. Original battery there. This is one of my dream cars, an Amplicar. I would love to do a review on one. If you guys are watching this and you're in the western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio region, I would love to review one. They're so cool. This guy was really cool. That's a Chevrolet Woody wagon. It was for sale in the car corral. It had 3 rows of seats in it. It was absolutely gorgeous. That looks like a Senior Packard, black and orange. That's when cars had class and style. I think that's an Auburn next to it. Another really classy car. The beige car here is another Packard. It looks like a dual cow Phantom, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Paris Aero, right there in the burgundy. But there's something for everybody at this show. It's absolutely incredible. If you've never gone, I'd highly suggest going. This is 1959 Chevrolet Impala. I love how it has that scoop in the back. 59 Cadillac next to it. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. And please like, share, subscribe this channel. I really want to build up my audience. Share some amazing vehicles with you guys in the future. Thanks again.